So good manners can open doors for us that the best education can't. So we can all have great manners and perhaps no common sense, or great manners and common sense. But if we can actually have all of those key attributes, that makes a big, big difference. So face-to-face communication, and what that actually looks like. 7% of a verbal message are from the words that are used. Okay, so that's us talking to somebody. So that's what people are actually paying attention to. 38% comes from our vocal tone, so what we're actually doing, so if we're pacing around, how we're inflecting that message, and 55% of that message is transmitted by our appearance or our body language. So that's huge. So if you take that into account, so let's take away that we're having a belly to belly meeting and we're just chatting. You can hear the tone of my voice. You can see how perhaps I love to use my hands, how I'm smiling, how my body is showing that, I'm open to conversation, and I'm just a happy-go-lucky person. So if you take that out and it's just down to a telephone perhaps, so that takes down the percentage of the communication that's actually taken in by somebody. So then it's 77% is the verbal message, and 38% comes from the vocal tone. So it's just the tone of the voice. And then if you take that down to an email, okay, 7% is just from the words written. There's no tone. They can't understand where the message might be coming from. So you could be coming from a humorous background, and you can't get humor across. There's no tone in email. So that's why emails need to be sort of succinct and to the point. So what we're going to do is just talk about how we can better communicate in all aspects. So hopefully that makes sense to everybody. So some of the forms of communication. So I'd love for you to think about this and write down how you communicate the most on a daily basis. So I know for me, most of it comes via phone. For my particular business, some of it's belly to belly. So I love to meet up and have coffee dates and lunches with people for my particular business. But a lot of it is email, is talking on the phone, or text messages. We all use social media now for messaging as well. So that's a huge, huge thing. So that's something that we need to bear in mind. We still write letters. Who writes letters here? So I love to send cards or thank you notes. That's still huge for me. And it's really, really nice to actually get a handwritten letter or a thank you note. And I love to do that for my particular team. So there are so many rights and wrong ways to communicate these days. But, just having basic business etiquette and common courtesy is a great starting place. So the past versus today, my goodness. So we used to communicate by smoke signals, by Morse code. Think of all of the different areas that's been used with regards to getting messages, that were secret or across in different ways. So telegraph, writing a letter. So, and then as it comes into the new ages, so telephone, email, that belly to belly contact. And something that we're really starting to see now, which I think is amazing because it really lessens the barriers in the world, is we're starting to see audio scribing, and you can now get apps that you can have on your phone, and you can say transverse it into if you could transcribe it into French or Spanish and that kind of thing. And, there's quite so many times now you can see things on LinkedIn or Facebook where a message is written in a different language and you can see the translation underneath by just clicking on that. So I think, it's really opening up and allowing us to better understand people from all different backgrounds and all different cultural backgrounds in life, which I think is a really, really cool thing.